There is a silent graveyard where dreams are buried, not beneath the soil, but inside men and women who never moved. The painter who never picked up the brush, the speaker who stayed silent, the builder who never laid the first brick. And what killed them was not failure. It was hesitation. Action is the oxygen of success, and the world doesn't hand you rewards for what you think about doing. It pays you for what you force yourself to do, when no one is watching, when your body aches, when your mind screams not today, and yet you move. Because that movement, that decision, that step forward is the difference between those who live with purpose and those who die with potential. Carnegie once said that the average person puts only 25% of their energy and ability into their work. The world takes off its hat to those who put in more than 50% and stands on its head for those rare souls who devote 100%. But the secret that few ever learn is that the first step takes the most force, not physical strength, but will, a decision to command yourself. And this isn't about motivation. Motivation is cheap. It rises and falls like the tide. This is about self-command. This is about becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for a better time, because now is always the time. There is no great act of creation that began with comfort. Edison didn't wait for someone to hand him light. He built it in the dark. Thousands of failures, thousands of hours. And through it all, he acted. Ford didn't ask for permission to reinvent the way the world moves. He forced action against the tides of doubt and disbelief. What made these men unstoppable was not brilliance. It was decision backed by discipline. It was vision backed by relentless action. It was desire backed by courage. And courage, my friend, is always tied to action. You don't get brave first. You act, and then you become brave. It is in the doing that you become powerful. And if you sit there, waiting for clarity, waiting for confidence, waiting for the stars to align, you will wait your whole life, because clarity comes from action. Confidence comes from action. The life you want is buried underneath the work you're avoiding. Let me say that again. The life you want is buried underneath the work you're avoiding. And the only shovel that will dig it out is action. You see, we were taught wrong. We were taught to think first, act later, to plan, to calculate, to perfect the blueprint before we build. But life doesn't reward the perfect plan. It rewards the brave builder, the one who dares to lay the first stone even if the path ahead is fogged with uncertainty. You want a different life? Then take different actions. Because a goal without action is just a wish. A dream without action is a fantasy. And knowledge without action is wasted light. Real success demands something uncomfortable. It demands you stop negotiating with weakness. It demands you stop explaining your delays and start executing your decisions. No more, "I'll try." No more, "maybe tomorrow." No more, "when I feel ready." That's not a strategy. That's self-sabotage wrapped in polite language. You must become your own force, your own ignition switch, because no one is coming. No mentor, no guru, no morning routine will save you if you don't rise and act. You are the key, not your environment, not your resources. You. Your body is tired? Move anyway. Your mind is foggy? Focus anyway. Your heart is uncertain? Take the next step anyway. Because every giant leap began with one trembling step. The strongest version of you, the one that people admire, respect, and remember, is forged in action. The Great Pyramids weren't built by thinkers alone. They were built by doers, stone by stone, hour by hour, under heat, under pressure, with purpose. And you too are building something, whether you admit it or not. Each day, your actions or your inactions are laying bricks. You're either building a temple or a tomb. Let me ask you something. What are you building? Because you're building something, even when you think you're standing still. Inaction is not neutral. It compounds like interest, stacking regret, missed opportunity, and mental decay. And the longer you sit idle, the heavier the burden becomes. The dream grows distant. The courage fades. The chains tighten. But the good news is that the escape is always within reach. One action, one command, one spark. You don't have to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to move your feet. Do the one thing. Send the email. Start the project. Make the call. Train your body. Speak the truth. Because momentum is born in the now. And when you force yourself to act, not when it's easy, but precisely when it's hard, you rewrite who you are. You become dangerous. You become disciplined. You become free. Free from the trap of comfort. Free from the illusion of someday. Free from the lie that you need more time. There is no right time. There is only time and what you do with it. Lincoln faced a divided nation. He didn't have clarity. He didn't have certainty, but he had purpose, and that purpose moved him. Disney was fired for lacking imagination, but he didn't stop. He acted, and because of that, the world knows his name. So don't tell me the odds. Tell me what you're going to do about them. Don't tell me your fears. Tell me the action you'll take in spite of them. You want transformation? It doesn't come from books, podcasts, or wishful thinking. It comes from execution. Consistent, painful, deliberate execution. Because when the sun sets on your life, you will not be remembered for what you wanted to do. You will be remembered for what you forced yourself to do. For the fires you walked through. For the mountains you climbed without a map. For the moments when you chose growth over comfort. That is the path. That is the price. That is the standard. Action is your salvation. And no one, not me, not anyone, can do it for you. So rise, move, begin. Now don't wait to be saved. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for a sign. The sign is you're still breathing. The sign is that dream that still burns, however faint, inside your chest. The sign is that feeling in your gut right now. The quiet roar saying, I was made for more. And if you ignore that voice, if you let it fade, you will become one of the many who settle, the many who blame, the many who bury themselves beneath excuses and call it realism. But realism without action is just surrender dressed in logic. Understand this: the world is not moved by those who calculate. It is moved by those who dare. Action doesn't require a perfect plan. It requires a perfect decision. Not perfect in logic, perfect in commitment. The moment you say, I will write the book, I will build the body, I will start the business, I will change my life, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times I fall, and then you move. That moment becomes your rebirth, because you are not who you are. You are what you do repeatedly. You want to know your true beliefs? Don't look at your thoughts. Look at your schedule. Look at your habits. Look at what you do when no one is around. Do you scroll or do you study? Do you retreat or do you build? Do you hesitate or do you act? Your destiny is not written by fate. It is written by force. The force of decision, the force of motion, the force of will. And no one understands this better than the ones who failed and kept moving. Because every failure is a furnace. It will either burn you down or forge you. Action is the hammer. Action is the anvil. Action is the fire. And through it, you shape yourself into something unbreakable. Do not fear failure. Fear inaction. Because failure refines you. Inaction erases you. The men and women you admire, they bled for their vision. They sacrificed for their calling. They didn't wait for clarity. They created it through motion. You don't need more ideas. You don't need more inspiration. You need to force yourself to take action. When the alarm goes off, get up. When the fear creeps in, lean forward.
When your body says quit, command it again. Because you are not weak. You are not average. You are not stuck. You are capable of violent, disciplined, beautiful transformation. But only if you act. So the question is not, can you? The question is, will you? Will you take the first step, even if your knees shake? Will you move forward, even if the map is torn and the road is steep? Will you commit not just once, but every single day until the world can't ignore your progress? Because that is how you win. That is how you rise. That is how you live fully. The greatest tragedy is not death, It's reaching the end of your life having never seen what you could have become because you didn't force yourself to move. So hear me now. This is your wake-up call. Not next week, not when the timing is perfect. Now push through the doubt, crush the delay, shatter the hesitation, and step into the arena. You were not born to sit in the stands. You were born to build empires with your hands. And the cornerstone is action. Now go. Begin. Move. Force yourself to take action until it becomes your nature. Until you don't even need to force it anymore. Because by then, you've become unstoppable.